Hi, Pastor Steve here. I want to thank you for listening today, and I want to encourage you because I know that God will truly bless you as you study His Word. So hey, let's get started.
Good morning, church family. This morning, we're going to be reading from Psalm 149, and we're going to read verses 1 through 5. It says, "Praise the Lord. Sing to the Lord a new song, His praise in the assembly of the godly. Let Israel be glad in His Maker. Let the children of Zion rejoice in their King. Let them praise His name with dancing, making melody to Him with tambourine and lyre. For the Lord takes pleasure in His people. He adorns the humble with salvation. Let the godly exult in glory. Let them sing for joy on their beds." What a beautiful picture this psalm is of God's people together rejoicing. And I love the picture that they're rejoicing out of some kind of religious duty or out of some kind of spiritual monotony of just being in the habit of gathering. They are rejoicing in God the Creator. They are singing, they are praising, they are dancing and using instruments to make melodies to the Lord. The reason, verse 4, "For the Lord takes pleasure in His people." And whatever you're doing right now, I'd like you to just stop and let that sink in. That the Lord, the God of the universe, the creator of all things, takes pleasure in His people, that He delights in His people. In the Old Testament, it literally says that God rejoices with singing over His people. And what a beautiful and life-transforming truth that is. At times, it's easy to look at ourselves in our imperfection and in our sinfulness and think, how could God delight in me? But here we have a picture of Israel, an adulterous, sinful people that God delights in, that God takes pleasure in. And He takes pleasure in them because He loves them. He created them. And the truth is that He loves you and He created you. And this truth leads us to a life of praise and worship and adoration for a God who created us and made us, a God who is holy and all-powerful and in control, and who loves us with all His heart. And I far too often lose sight of that, and I seek the approval or the validation of other people. I have to look a certain way or act a certain way because I need people to delight in my presence or to approve of me. And when we forget that the God of the universe takes pleasure in us and delights in us, it's easy to do that. There's a children's book by Max Lucado called "You Are Special." And it's about a group of people called the Wemmicks, and they're little handcrafted dolls. And the Wemmicks go through their life and acquire either gray dots or shiny stars. And you get a shiny star for having very polished paint, or for being able to run fast or jump high or do amazing acrobatic tricks. You get gray dots if you have scuffed or chipped paint, or if you can't run very fast, or you can't jump very high, or you can't do amazing special things. And there's one little Wemmick named Punchinello who tries with all his might to get gold stars. And in doing so, he falls down a lot, which scuffs his paint, which then people put gray dots on him. And in trying to run fast, he chips or breaks pieces and then acquires more gray dots, and he's just filled with gray dots. One day he encounters a girl who has no dots and no stars whatsoever, and he wishes he could be like that. And so she tells him that the reason she's like that is because she went to see Eli, the woodmaker. And she said, you should go see him too. And so Punchinello goes and visits Eli, and he's scared. He's ashamed because he has so many gray dots. And so he comes in to visit Eli, and Eli asks him, Punchinello, what's wrong? And Punchinello's taken aback that Eli knows his name. And Eli says, I know your name because I made you. I created you. And he said, I'm sorry I got all these gray dots. And Eli said, oh, those gray dots don't mean anything to me. I love you and care about you because I made you. And at the sound of that, the gray dots fall off of Punchinello, and he's able to walk through life with none of the gray dots or the gold stars sticking to him, because he no longer needs the approval of the other mimics, because he has the delight and pleasure and acceptance of the Maker. And this is what this psalm is telling us, that each and every day that we can wake up and remember the truth that the Lord takes pleasure in his people. That as a follower of Jesus Christ, we are adopted into God's family. We are one of his people, and he delights and takes pleasure in us, and that compels us to a life of obedience to him, and it drives us to an attitude and a life of worship. So today, I pray that we would stop. We would remember that the Lord takes pleasure in his people, and it would lead us to praise, that we would rejoice in that truth, that we would dance, that we would sing from our beds, like the psalmist says. Have a great day.
Thanks again for listening today. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like more information about our church, or if you just want to share what God's been doing in your life, drop us a line. Give us a call. Again, may God bless you.